Hey guys, I'm Christine Cancel, owner of Mora Asian Kitchen in Oak Park at 201 Harrison Street. And today I'm hanging out with Ron and Eric on the Asian American perspective. Hope you guys enjoy the show.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. Thanks for clicking on. Today we got Christine Cancel. She's a proud Filipino woman and the visionary force behind a thriving woman-owned business in the hospitality industry. She's got deep roots in the restaurant world. Christine has built her career around the belief that food is one of the most powerful ways to bring people together. Driven by purpose and passion, Christine draws from her heritage and life experiences to create welcoming spaces where community and culture meet at the table. Her journey is not just about serving great meals, it's about sharing stories, honoring identity, and making people feel at home, one plate at a time. Through leadership and commitment to excellence, she continues to break barriers and elevate voices in an industry that thrives on connection. Her work is a celebration of food, family, and the vibrant power of bringing people together. Christine, thanks for coming on our show.
Welcome.
Awesome to have you here. So you currently own Asian or Mora Asian Fusion.
Asian Fusion, Asian Kitchen. I have one in Plainfield and one in Oak Park.
Nice.
Yeah, going strong, 11 years on the first location, and we're going on 8 years in Oak Park.
That's awesome. Yeah, but I'm a little biased because I love I love your restaurant. So yeah, I got zero bad things to say. I can't give a unbiased review of your restaurant. Although friends, what I mean? I don't even know the name of the restaurant half the time. It's like, oh, I'm going to go to Christine and John's place and let's go there and stuff. So did you grow up in Chicago?
Born and raised in Chicago. I spent, after my mom died when I was young, we moved to the Philippines and my aunt raised us.
Oh,
I
wow.
came back about 9 years old.
Nice.
Yeah, so speak fluent Tagalog, fluent Kapampangan, learned to cook from being in the Philippines, watching all the grandmas and the aunts and all the fiestas and how it just brought not just the family together, but when you have a fiesta, the whole town comes.
Oh, nice. Right.
So that's my connection to why I wanted to get into the food industry, because food teaches people tolerance for other cultures,
Right.
respect. And when you eat the food, you start to understand the history of what it is that you're eating.
Sure.
So a lot of people may not know it, but each Filipino dish has its history from the Spaniards, from the Chinese influence, and the Japanese influence. It's huge in our cooking. It's all hidden nuances in everything that we eat. And I think teaching people that through ingredients that they understand gives a nice platform to where Filipino food is now making a mark in the industry, where people want to try Filipino food. It's not just, I had a nurse that brought me pancit.
Yeah.
I had a neighbor that they had parties and
Right.
ate lumpia.
Right.
Now it's, oh, we're having a cocktail, a nice meal. This can be served beautifully. It's not in a grocery store with the sneeze guard and you just point and point.
The pick places. Right.
Yeah, I want the brown stuff, or what's that? Give me that color,
Sure.
So now I think it's more tolerated, accepted, and the Filipino population has come such a long way, even to the generation now where my kids are. It does seem to be get a little bit lost. So preserving tradition, preserving culture. This is why I wanted to do the whole premise of Mora. And the reason I chose to do it in a platform where you have sushi, you have Korean wings, we have other Southeast Asian cultures is because Americans understand that.
Right.
But they never understood our food.
Right.
Now they do.
Right. Now,
So-
now is fusion. Can you explain to people? Some people don't know what fusion is because you said Korean food, Filipino food. Now, is that an integration of different foods into?
Well, Filipino food in itself is fusion,
Absolutely.
right? So I wanted to fuse the cultures, but give them traditional plates.
Okay.
Makes sense. So they're coming in for sushi. That's a Japanese aspect,
Right.
right? You use the ponzu, the yuzu. I'll throw in some calamansi flavor into the sushi
Right.
rolls. It's hidden, but when you're eating it and you're tasting it and you're like, why is it different?
Right.
That's how it's different.
Right.
I'm giving you splashes of color through what is Filipino.
Right.
So even in the Korean wings, not traditional Korean wings, I do add like a little bit of patis in there,
Right.
Which
Yeah.
is fish sauce.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Sure.
that's how we salt our food, right? So I wanted to say, hey, yes, Koreans use it. Vietnamese use it. We use it too. So it medleys all of the cultures together. So it's not just you're picking something so traditional, but the flavors are all there.
Right.
You're getting something else too from another country, from another culture. So I think I worked really hard to present it in that way.
Right.
And I think it's getting understood now. It's still a struggle.
Right.
There are its ups and downs. But now I think I see other places doing beautiful food with Filipino touches. We have our first Michelin Filipino restaurant, kudos to them. And I think it's just growing.
Right. I think probably the last 4 or 5 years coming to the forefront of international foods.
Yeah. And I think, when Anthony Bourdain said it, and I use this as a reference, it may be kitschy, but he said Filipino food is the next boom. And after that comment, I've seen such an uptick in the drive where ube is at Trader Joe's.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to ask you about ube. I don't understand the craze.
I know ube now, but now that people are like, oh, a purple ice cream, but it's such a thing. Everybody loves it. And it's so nostalgic, So I think those are flavors we know as kids.
Right.
We're like, it's ube. It is.
Yeah.
What it is.
Yeah.
But now that, our American friends are loving
Right.
them,
Yep.
it's a surprise.
I mean, if it gets them in the door to try ube and then try other Filipino foods, fine. But us being Filipinos, me personally, I don't get it.
Well, I know. It's like the people that go to Jollibee and they're like all geeked up about like, that's fast food, right? And it's
Yeah.
you go to the Philippines, there's a McDonald's, and then right across the street is a Jollibee's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just about every street corner in Metro Manila, is just Jollibee. That's why I couldn't understand when did they open one up in Skokie?
Yeah. Yeah.
And people waited 4 hours
For a
like,
bucket of chicken.
for chicken. I'm like,
I mean, it's chicken joy. It's great. It's good chicken. But I mean, you're right. I wouldn't.
I've been at Jollibee once, and it was probably 2 years after it opened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when did you decide to get into the restaurant business? Open up your old place.
It all happened by default, right? So my brother Jason, I sold it. I was in real estate many years before even this restaurant. I wasn't even at conception. He said, I bought this space. I sold it to him. I said, okay. He's like, I don't know what to do with it. Became kind of like a showroom for his clients. He was an engineer.
Uh-huh.
Then he had a bar in there. And then it just became like more and more. And then he was putting restaurant equipment. I'm like, you have a full-on restaurant. And he's like, should we open a restaurant? And I'm like, oh, man, I don't know. Because where it was in Plainfield at that time, it was a lot of fast food chains. The understanding of what Asian food was Panda Express.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Asian food if there's a bunch of Mexicans in the kitchen cooking. That's just my answer to people.
Well, They keep the industry going.
I'm not knocking Mexican people cooking because we're at our local Mexican place twice a week here. So
I mean, they can cook anything.
yeah, they can cook anything.
Anything. I promise.
But I don't call that Chinese food. You know,
So it wasn't like there was a need for it. People, you live in the city, you go to college in the city, you meet your spouse, you start having kids, you need more space, you move in that way. That was what happened to my brother. They moved to Plainfield. I called it Farfield.
It is. It still is.
Sure.
And he would always tell me, bring me sushi, bring me Filipino food, or can you come over and cook? I never understood it, right? Because I was still like living my life at single in the city. So I'm like, all right. To me, it was like, I don't understand. But when I drove around and really realized, like, wow, you guys have to actually travel for this experience. Where to me in the city, they're everywhere. So when he said, let's do it, I thought he was crazy. But we had a line that was like a 3-hour wait. Post opening night, and I said, wow, this could be a thing.
And you had a full menu going already.
Full menu going. It was works, and you take a huge risk. Like, everyone thinks the restaurant business is an easy business. It's one of the hardest business.
Right.
Slimmest profit margins. It's a labor of love. So to all my restaurant owners out there, I get it. You don't own the business owns you. But when we started it and we started to see the need for it and how much people actually were loving it, I was like, oh my God, they're ordering adobo fried rice and eating it with their fingers. This is crazy.
Which is amazing, by the way. That I always order that when I go to your place.
Well, that was a necessity meal born out of my kitchen. So the story behind that adobo fried rice was, I had just had my kids back to back. Couldn't work, had to stay home and watch them because daycare was a salary, right? So I opted to be the stay-home mom, and probably the hardest job I've ever had.
Sure.
But necessity meal, right? You always make adobo as a Filipino. It's like quick, easy.
Right.
Keep it in the fridge for a week. You still eat it all week. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to feed them for breakfast? All I had was eggs and rice.
Yes.
So I'm like, well, that's boring. So I'm like, all right, let's just make a garlic fried rice. Then I threw in the adobo. Then I threw in the sauce. I just started dumping all this stuff, and then I threw a fried egg on it. And that's how adobo fried rice was born. And it is my #1 seller 11 years.
Oh, yeah. Last time I went to your guys' restaurant was with a bunch of the guys, meet up with John, and everybody's trying to figure out. I was like, I give 2 shits what you guys are going to order. I know I'm going to get some adobo fried rice. So order what else you want, but I'm having some of it. It's amazing. I know you haven't been there yet, but that's got to be on the top.
No, I was telling Ron yesterday. I told him I was going to do some research, field research.
Right.
I was going to go to the restaurant, but no, yesterday it didn't open till 4. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to go a different time.
Oh, you got to come.
Okay.
Come for sure.
Okay.
And it's amazing to see Americans love adobo fried rice. And I'm like, wow, who would have thought? Because adobo is a necessity meal for Filipinos, right? It preserves, it keeps, it is a save all meal.
Essentially inexpensive.
Inexpensive to make, and now it's literally my #1 seller.
Wow.
And I never thought that was going to.
So speaking of demographics at your Oak Park place, what is the crowd?
So the crowd, I would say, is anywhere from your 30s to your 50s, or Caucasian customers.
Sure.
I would say 70% Caucasian, maybe 15% African American, and then the rest is mixed. I would like for our people to support.
That was going to be my next question.
More of it. I mean, this is for us guys. Like, this is what's putting us on the map, right?
Sure.
Through food, and it teaches people.
Sure.
Yeah, I would love for our people to be more supportive.
Well, yeah, I think Oak Park's a great place because, I retired from that police department and was there for 22 years, and the majority of that community, there's not too many Filipinos in that community. So, but, the people, like, when you tell them you're Filipino, they always have that, oh, hey, you're Filipino? Do you know Ray so-and-so? he's Filipino, you know, well, 80% of Oak Park is like that. They're like, yeah, they're like, oh, you're Filipino? Do you know so-and-so? I'm like, no, we don't know.
God, oh, you're Filipino. My mom's nurse is.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. There isn't a hospital in America where you can stand in a hospital and throw a rock and not hit some Filipino nurse, So, yeah, that's why I was curious. But so, as far as Filipinos, frequenting your place and stuff, you're not getting much support there? Or?
We get them. They come. It's a lot of criticism.
Yeah, we joked around about this off camera. I want you to expand on this.
So I think there's still very much the crab mentality. Other Filipino-owned businesses, it's like superficially we're proud, but are we really proud? Because we come into a place and break it down and criticize it, right? Like, oh, my Lola makes better egg rolls. So it's like, okay, great. Well, my Lola taught me this way.
Right.
Yeah. Call her up. Yeah. Don't waste my time.
Oh, it's too expensive. For that price, we can make enough to feed whatever. But to me, it's like, okay, well, I pay rent.
Yeah.
Buy all the inventory. I'm paying chefs to cook your food. I mean, they're chefs.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean.
I think it's that, like we talked earlier about the old school mentality.
Yeah.
Where, they know someone who can make it better. Well, good, right? But this is right, like what you said, this is how we make it. Like it or not, this is how we make it.
Right.
But I think the younger crowds, which is why all the other new Filipino restaurants are popping up, I think I think they're embracing.
They're starting to embrace it. But I think there's also like, as long as it's kind of kitschy.
Yeah.
Right? Like
ube.
Ube.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
But there's one thing when I hire all my chefs and when I hire new line cooks and even my front of the house staff, there is something that is true to Mora, and it is the Filipino item. Nobody changes. Only I make those changes. That's the only way to preserve, right? Otherwise, if I let every chef tell me how another restaurant does it or how it could be better this way, it loses that, I want to say, like, respect to the tradition, right? It gets too muddled.
Right. Well, like a watered down version of you and of your Lola and of your family.
Right.
What it becomes.
So, I mean, there's 15, maybe more variations on pancit.
Sure.
Canton. That's how I learned. And everyone's like, this isn't pancit. I'm like, it's pancit. That's how we grew up. Right. So, I mean, I get that criticism from Filipinos, right? And they're the most critical. And I'm baffled sometimes. Like, you guys should be proud.
Sure.
Right? We're doing it. Like, we're on DoorDash.
So you're baffled. Yeah. You're baffled. I think I'd be offended, really.
Yeah, I'm baffled. I'm not offended. It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Get it? But I'm baffled because I thought that there would be more support in the sense of this is something we should be proud of.
Sure.
Something to be celebrated. Because, I don't know, maybe because I do it out of passion, right? Everyone says, why are you still doing this? I had an out during COVID.
Sure.
That's it. Retire. Let's do something else.
Right.
I'm like, no, I worked too hard to do this. Sticking my ground, even if we made $0 freaking dollars. We kept going, take out little by little, short menu, very little. I survived them. Even the death of my brother, which was devastating, right? That's why we had 3, we closed 1. We just put it out there. Yes, Mora Bolingbrook, we had to close because I'm one person and I cannot manage 3.
Sure.
And it was a part of Bolingbrook that, the mall, it's all gone.
Oh, is it?
Like, yeah, the movie theater went away. So many other places went away. And I said, well, this is the out for this restaurant. We have to take that. So my decision was to survive the other 2 in his memory and the legacy of what we started, and to preserve what we had like learned as far as being restaurateurs, being really new into the industry, not knowing if it would work. I said, I can't give up now. So that's why when I get the criticism from people, it stings a little bit.
Right.
But I'm just baffled because I'm like, man, you should be proud. You know, like I see other Filipino businesses, I go and support. If I won't even eat all the food, but I order everything just to support, just to taste their pride in what they do and to be proud as a Filipino.
Right.
Kudos to you. Right. So wish there was less of that crab mentality for sure.
Right. Right.
Well, yeah, that's got, I guess any criticism, I guess, sometimes, just, I obviously I have a small business as well, training people in firearms and stuff. And then, I'll get the phone calls and they want to know how much my classes cost and stuff. I'm like, well, I can go here and it's only $99. And I tell them, we'll go there. You know what I mean? And I don't have a good business sense where I'm just like, maybe I should be a little bit nicer when I say it, because the way I just said it isn't quite the way I actually say it. I'm like, well, yeah, you need to go there. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to have this argument. My time is,
Your time is?
Yeah, money. You know what I mean? It's time away from my family.
The dedication you put in.
Exactly.
To where you're
at. And their response doesn't justify me explaining my credentials, how I came up with this or, what I train on and stuff. I was just like,
Listen, long ago.
Yeah, it's just like, it's not worth it. It's just like, it's like anything else, whether it's politics, religion, no matter what I tell you, you already have your opinion on it, and I'm not going to change it no matter what I say. So I try to, cut that out right at the beginning and just not waste my energy and stuff like that. So.
No, I think you should know your self-worth. Your value.
Exactly.
And I think by discounting that, you're not being true to yourself.
100%.
But, like what I was saying earlier, I'm a little biased, but your food stands alone. You know what I mean? So it's not like I got to hear other people, or I got to look up reviews and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, obviously I grew up with John, you know what I mean? So, he's telling me about the restaurant and stuff, and I go, and he was like, oh yeah, come on by. And I go by, and I don't expect anything great, but then it was great, so you're like, it's like, oh shit. You know what I mean?
It's legit.
It's legit. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, okay, Filipino restaurant is Filipino restaurant. Yeah.
What it was from before.
Right.
Turo.
Right.
Yeah.
Someone's house.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And just,
And it's not all Jollibee.
No, it's not. And here's the thing is, unfortunately for me, like, like my parents are gone. You know what I mean? So with my parents being gone, I don't get invited to all the, the Filipino gatherings and stuff. So the only time I hang out with other Filipino guys is when John calls me, gives me a text, hey, we're going to be here. Or, and I get my fill, which is great. You know what I mean? Here, I don't even let Lisa touch the rice cooker. You know what I mean? So, she tried to make chicken adobo once, and I cut that off.
If you can't do it, you're making the right.
Exactly. So, so we, I have to get my fill by, hanging out with my guys or going to the restaurants and stuff, because I don't normally get to have that.
But when you do have it, it brings back those memories.
Oh, it does. Absolutely.
It gives you that connection.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like I said, it really truly is a labor of love.
Yeah.
Well, I got to give a shout out to my staff, because I could not do it and cook 24/7.
Sure.
If they weren't there to hold it down and really preserve what it is I set out to do.
Right.
And so, yeah, when I hear stories like that, the fact that I can give you that little memory.
Absolutely.
That little bite of, oh, I'm home.
Yeah.
Right. And it's so simple.
Right.
The food is beautiful, but it's so simple, but it was never presented so nice. No. And I think that's what was really hard for me. Like, how do we make sinigang? Right? We would do specials with sinigang. How do we get people to understand sour soup? The Thais did it beautifully with their tom yum and their the Chinese do it well, but how do we get the Filipinos to, how do we get them to understand sinigang? Right? So I grilled it.
Oh, wow.
So that's understood. So I grill sinigang. I have a grilled sinigang salmon, and but the taste is there,
Right.
and it reminds you of home. It's warm,
Right.
know. So I think when people make that connection, it makes it all worth it, right? And I don't think you should, like what you were saying, as a business owner, the struggles of people discount.
Sure.
I've stuck to my guns. I've stuck to my pricing. It is what it is.
Uh-huh.
And it's not for everybody.
Nope.
So like I said, keep it moving if you can't appreciate.
Right.
Hate appreciate.
Right.
Right. So
You, culinary background, you're self-taught.
self-taught.
That's freaking awesome.
Self-taught. So a couple of Panans, that's where I grew up. My dad's family's from there. We're known as the culinary capital of the Philippines. It still is. There's so many, they should be Michelin star rated restaurants. But we grew up with, our house was the house where all of the fiestas were happening.
Sure.
So there was 15 cooks. So you're watching, you're smelling, you're tasting, you're grinding. That's how me and my brothers grew up seeing this, right? So I took a lot of that from memory, from smell, from flavor, and I just would make it up.
Right.
Right? And I just made it up, made my own versions of it. And then when we slapped together the menu, I said, hey, this is what we're doing.
Right.
So when you bring in your chefs, right? Obviously, these guys have, certain qualifications. I know nothing about the restaurant business, but I'm sure these guys have certain qualifications to even get in the door. Now, they come with their experience, from schools or other restaurants. What is the orientation process like when these guys come in? Say, hey, this is the way I want it done. You know what I mean?
So took me a long time to configure the recipe to feed 100 to 200. Because
Sure.
when I wrote it out in my kitchen, it was on a napkin. Because Filipinos don't measure,
No.
right?
No.
So I had to redo the recipe 20 times. Oh, that's too much salt. Okay, maybe but then you have to actually, I think my kids were eating adobo for 2 months. So they perfected it to make it into restaurant
Sure.
size. So it's all on recipes. They're all trained. They get, I've been blessed to have my chef with me, David, and he's actually owned his own Vietnamese restaurant, but he appreciated sticking to your culture, sticking to what you know. And he's taken all of my recipes and preserved them. And he teaches them with heart. Sometimes I see him doing it Filipino style. I'm like, you didn't measure.
Right.
But now it's it's in him, So when he does train, they have to follow the process. But I give him free run of the menu. I said, everything else you have run of, but you keep tradition on this side.
Sure.
So the sushi guys are all great. They're all experienced. They come with their own recipes, and I want them to be driven to make better
Right.
from where they came from. I even tell them, add heart to it, pick a spice from where you're from and throw it into something and make it yours. I've named dishes after my chefs. My chef in Plainfield, the role is called My Cousin Oscar.
Oh,
Because it's his role.
is it right? That's great.
He makes that thing so good each and every time, right? And my chef has given me Vietnamese stuff that is so good. And there is no Vietnamese restaurants really in the park. So
Yeah.
when we do Vietnamese specials, people do come for it. So kudos to them.
Right.
I want them to have heart. I want them to also show people where they're from. So
That's where the fusion comes in.
that's where the future comes.
Right.
Yeah, but no one touches
Right. Then when I guess off limits. Right.
What kind of obviously, like a lot of restaurants have special events and stuff. You got obviously, I'm sure, because you guys are cutting edge. You guys got a lot of activities or a lot of events coming on.
Yeah, so we join a lot of the things that Oak Park has. Takeout 25 has been a really good format for us.
Sure.
Help restaurants. Their mission was to help restaurants during COVID, and they really carried on this mission, and they've opened a platform so all the restaurateurs get together. They do a couple festivals out of the year that we participate in. The Arts District has like Wine Walk. We just did What's Blooming on Harrison Fest. That's huge. Brings a good crowd and new faces to town. We've also done stuff with other, there's a bunch of pop-ups, like Filipino pop-up groups. We've done stuff with them and collabed with them and brought their stuff in-house to sell. Yeah, so I like to work with other small businesses to highlight what they're doing. And if I can incorporate it even into our menu or a dessert or some sort of specials. We have specials every month. Where we're actually doing like a patio doggy menu. And I'm actually collaborating with an Italian ice company to do Oozy Pops.
Oh, nice.
So imagine like he's got tropical flavors. I'm like, we're going to come and see one.
Right.
So bringing our flavors with other businesses and meddling them together, I think I have that fusion part of it makes it a perfect. And then we're going to be doing some Mora Sundays. So where is it? Some Mora. Where we get a DJ and we're having like bar specials, like mimosa Sundays and small bar bites like lumpia. So just to bring people up, right?
Sure.
Weather's nice. Why not? Something to do at a Sunday,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, we do a lot of those. And now I have a Kamayan platter.
Oh, nice.
So that is everything Filipino on the menu on one big board. It's been so amazing. It presents so beautiful.
And they're eating with their hands?
I tell them it means eat with your hands.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you want.
I'm glad you explained it to our white friends and stuff like that. What Kamayan means.
Yes. So traditionally, you eat with your hands on a banana leaf.
Sure.
Put it on a board. I tell them, you choose to eat with your hands. I got napkins. It's on. But we also have silverware, chopsticks, take your pick.
Sure.
Utensils optional.
Yes.
Right.
So that is everything that we sell on the Filipino side.
Awesome.
One big board.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I did that as a tribute. And surprisingly, the Filipinos don't order it, man.
Really?
No.
Yeah, my dad was big on eating with his hands and stuff growing up and stuff like that. Obviously, I was born in the Philippines, and raised in, on the west side of Chicago. And I came here at 3 when I was 3 years old. So, of course, we didn't live in a Filipino neighborhood. So, you try to assimilate with your friends and stuff like that. So, which obviously now that we're older and we miss those things and stuff, and, as a kid growing up Filipino, I think a lot of us, tried to, get away from our culture and assimilate with our friends because now, everybody thought that was weird. Like when my friends picked me up for, to walk to school, my grandmother was cooking, fried fish.
You smell them like that at school.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
You get the longanisa burps.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, it's just kind of one of those things. You know what I mean? So, but you miss those things. You know what I mean? And
it's different now. Actually, when I pack my kids a sandwich and chips, they're like, why are you packing me a snack?
yeah.
What? So they want rice.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's different, right? Culturally, I think it's turned where I was embarrassed to bring rice.
Oh, I know. You just brought back some memories from grade school. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, luckily there was, other people, that were like open to, because, I trade for, a burrito that their mom made or something like that. Or, I was like, okay, man, you dig it, whatever. Or like we'd have parties at our house and someone made dinuguan. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. You just tell them, it's chocolate meat. I was like, I won't eat it, but you can have at it. You know what I mean? And they end up loving it. They're like, oh, man, what is that stuff? I was like, dude, you probably don't want to know because I don't know. Yeah.
But the Spanish do blood sausage.
Yeah.
Puerto Ricans have more seafood.
Everybody does it.
Everybody does
Yeah.
it. And so now that more cultures are coming around, and I really do think Filipino from the Asians was like the very last,
Oh, yeah.
right? Because Vietnamese, everyone knows pho, everyone knows Vietnamese food, Korean barbecue, then their banchans, right? Chinese is Chinese, right? Japanese was tolerated, Thai. Filipino wasn't.
Yeah.
right? So when we brought our weird food, it was like, oh, what is that? But when now you have all these other cultures coming into schools and it's just been more diverse,
Sure.
it's more tolerated. So
Yeah.
my kids don't have to be embarrassed bringing their lunch. Oh my God. I had like the country crock container with the rice and
Oh, man.
weird meat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to open my lunch. So I'd eat the stale chips that they packed with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know what real Tupperware was till I was like moved out of my house. You know what I mean? I was like, what are these fancy people? You know what I mean?
Hey,
It's
You mean
not-
your Tupperware's in an old whipped cream container?
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
one.
Yeah.
Sorry. So
I remember my mom making me wash like some of the plastic forks and spoons after parties and shit. You know what I mean? I was just like, when I would go to a regular party and people are throwing that stuff, I was like, wait a minute, your parents don't make you wash that shit? You know what I mean?
they're like, we were supposed to save it.
Yeah. It's just like, I just think that's, oh man, you just brought back a lot of memories. That's awesome.
Yeah, I know it's crazy that, I sometimes find myself like, oh, this would be a good container. But then I'm like, okay, I don't want my kids opening the fridge and look like, I thought this was water. What is this? And I'm like, it's bagoong.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like that's the way my parents ate. There was always a dish of, or a bowl of patis and then the bagong, you know what I mean? And, after, moving out of my parents' house, I never saw that again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless you go to someone else's, some other Filipino's house and stuff like that. And it's hard to explain to your non-Filipino friends, you know what I mean, about the sauces. I mean, you kind of get that when you go to the Korean barbecues and stuff like that.
Jewel cells.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Well, what's that other sauce? Our banana sauce? What is it called?
Oh, there was a ban for a while. It's back.
Is that bad?
The Mafran
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a band?
or Jufran.
Jufran, yes, what it is. And then what's that other that new, not new, but that other sauce? It was
Which one?
it's like a red sauce. It's like the Asian ketchup. Besides Jufran, it's another one. It's like a spicy sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Sriracha.
Sriracha. That's become popular within the last.
Buy that.
Yeah, right,
Hey, yeah. So it's cool to see.
right.
Like all these brands are now at like popularized stores. And
Right.
like, we don't have to be ashamed of it.
No, not at all.
The stigma is being removed. The only thing I wish is that our people would support each other more. Right. In
Yeah, that's
business
crazy.
And just in business, right? Really build community without all the crab mentality and the I'm better than you attitude.
Yeah.
That's what kills it.
It's funny, we just had on Aaron Del Mar. He's, the Cook County Republican chairman and stuff like that. And we're just, one of the topics we had talked about when it comes to politics is like why everybody is so divided in the Asian community in itself. Not that we're a big voting population and stuff, depending on what county you go to. But the Filipino community is divided, because, years ago, I was the president for the Asian American Law Enforcement Association. And, they would, my dad was, heavily involved in a lot of these organizations. We used to have a big Filipino parade every year. You know what I mean? Downtown.
Huge downtown.
But
There were
now,
two of them.
now there's two of them. You know what I mean? And because they had called me, one of my parents' friends is like, oh, hey, can we get a police escort for our parade? And I'm like, okay. So I set that up. I called my contacts at Chicago PD and, and my guy called me. He's like, hey, which parade am I going to? I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, oh, there's one on Montrose and then there's one on Lawrence.
Oh,
Yeah, it's crazy, and then they both end up at the same place. They both end up at Labao Woods at two different groves. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I called the person who called me. I was like, hey, you didn't tell me there was two parades. He was like, oh, this is the one, typical, Filipino response. Oh, this is the one that counts. You know what I mean? This is the one your father would have been involved with. I'm like, well, when my father was doing all this stuff, there was only one parade. So you can't really tell me. Yeah, it was kind of embarrassing. You know what I mean? I don't know any other.
I think the division comes.
it's because whoever the promoters are, just clash or want their little, time in the limelight or the spotlight. You know what I mean? I think that's how some of the old school, Filipino immigrants are. They just want to feel important about something.
And I think they don't like seeing other people of their race or their kind being more successful than that. To me, my opinion.
Crab mentality
Right.
comes up.
Yeah. We got to pull them back down. Instead of boosting them up, you try to take them down, try to sabotage them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it makes them feel bad. I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It's like the guys I grew up with, John, I mean, there was like never competition, they're just happy to be around each other and stuff. I can't imagine, being derogatory towards somebody or, hoping that they fail or something, especially if, they're, say, Filipino, you know what I mean? Or Asian for that matter. You know what I mean? You just want to see people succeed. At least I do. You know what I mean? I'm nothing special or anything like that, but it's just
About this in my head, I'm thinking, binds us. What binds us? What can bind us to be one?
yeah. It's funny you say that because I still, being Filipino, I get a kick out of how more mainstream we are now. You know what I mean? And as much as I don't agree with like certain comedians and stuff, but George, I don't know if it was George Lopez, but there was a Hispanic comedian, and the one thing that he said stuck in my head: with all these interracial relationships, you know what I mean, that are prevalent in society today, he's like, in 5 years, everybody's going to look Filipino. You know what I mean? Which is true. It's true. You know what I mean?
Because we're a mix of a whole lot of things.
We're a mix of everything. You know what I mean? So, and it's funny is like one of the guys I worked with, when I started working with him at the Oak Park Police Station or department, I just knew him as one of the black officers I worked with. And then it was only a couple of years after we'd hung out and I went to his wedding and all that stuff. And, he's like, oh yeah, my mom was Filipino. And then you start looking at him, why did I freaking figure that out before? You know what I mean? But I mean, who cares? You know what I mean? But I still get a kick out of knowing somebody's, Filipino like my son, or has, exactly.
Kababayan.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure if other ethnicities feel the same way. I'm sure everybody has their, people that they, they hold up there, because they're from, Poland or Europe, the European countries or the action stars, the Chinese, have their people and stuff like that. But I still get a kick out of, seeing somebody who's been successful, like yourself and are Filipinos. Like, oh shit, Christine and John, they're successful, and not only did I just grow up with John, but they're Filipino. You know what I mean? So I get a kick out of that. I don't understand why the rest of our community doesn't feel that way. You know what I mean? And I think it has very little that John and I grew up together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's a perception. Then the perception of being Filipino
Sure.
generationally, like how it's changed.
Oh yeah.
But yet there's still that lingering in the back of the mentality of the crab mentality, right? And I think it just keeps going. And how do you break?
Yeah, I think with the new generation, though, our kids and stuff like that, they didn't, grow up, like in my case, trying to assimilate with the, my friends that weren't Filipino and stuff like that, trying to, back away from, our culture and our traditions and stuff like that. Because, you're right. You're just like, you're eating out of a, used Tupperware, they made at lunch and stuff, and people are looking at you funny and stuff, you're kind of embarrassed and stuff like that. But I mean, obviously, the older we get, it's more endearing thinking about those memories and stuff like that. It's like, oh man, I miss those days. I mean, if I can only, obviously, at our age, we got to watch what we eat and stuff like that. I can't have chicken adobo every day. I double up on my cholesterol pills, but it's just one of those things. It's just like, man, I wish my kids kind of had that experience and stuff like that, and just growing up and, 'cause, I mean, growing up, I'm sure it was the same with you, Eric, is, growing up, and they used to have all these picnics, and you can go to just there's other Filipino and say, oh yeah, I'm here with Uncle Boy or Tita Baby, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you were welcomed at any picnic.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I understand.
Yeah.
If you're going to a picnic, you bring your friends or you're welcome. You're invited.
Yeah.
But when it comes to business stuff, I think I don't know why the mentality changes. Or when you want to see somebody else successful, it changes.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I love your restaurant. You know what I mean? You've done such a great job.
So conversation we're having in the latter part of it is everyone just like eat together and come together. I think there's a sense of camaraderie, a sense of peace,
Right.
nostalgia
Oh yeah.
to be celebrated.
Right. Absolutely.
We're all celebrated. We're all kababayan, which is, our countrymen. And I'm proud of that.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And I got to ask, why did you guys pick, did you grow up in Oak Park area, or why did you pick that area?
So when I came back to the U.S. after living in the Philippines, my dad had an apartment in Oak Park, and I went to see Nick.
Oh.
Yeah. And he always used to say, oh, it's the suburbs, but close to the city.
Sure.
So when we were thinking of the expansion of Mora, like, are we really expanding? And I said, can you build one closer so that I don't have to drive so far? And he's like, what about Oak Park? And it just felt so natural.
Sure.
And when we saw the space and I drove by the old neighborhood and, our apartment was right by the Robinsons Room.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, God, this brings me back. And I felt proud, and I felt like there's a sense of purpose. And I like the location is in a neighborhood. We've become kind of the neighborhood spot.
Nice.
Our little bar there.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's how we made the decision to do Oak Park. Because I'm like, I'm not going further than Plainfield.
Yeah, obviously, I asked that because I have a different view of Oak Park, having worked there in law enforcement,
Oh.
So when John's like, oh, yeah, we're opening up a restaurant in Oak Park, I'm like, where? You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, well, it's right by the station and stuff like that. And I'll be in the area.
Yeah.
I just
2 blocks.
let me know if you need anything. I don't want to rain on any, scare anybody.
The time we came to, that whole area, the arts district, was under like this huge revitalization.
Oh, yeah. It's a great area.
It's become such a beautiful area. I mean, at first I was like, oh, I don't know. Everything was kind of abandoned and kind of like left.
Sure.
And when we were given that opportunity and we got that corner spot, I said, this is perfect. Felt good.
Well, then Mora's probably part of the revitalization, which probably encouraged it and invited people back.
Yeah. At the same time we were building Mora, all that whole area, like all those new buildings were coming about. They were putting a lot of money into revitalizing that area. The community supported it. So it felt like home.
Right. Well, it helps that your place is a beautiful space. I mean, it's a great, it's a great venue. I mean, it is. I mean, it's
There's a
pretty posh. Yeah, it looks nice.
my brother designed and built and the whole design mentality about it was to change the face of Asian dining also. While we're on this mission to get Filipino food out there, we wanted to change the vision of what is Asian dining, right? You
Sure.
go into the mom and pops, it's the sticky sauce bottles.
Sure.
My whole aesthetic was, why can't it just be,
Sure.
why can't someone give me a little container of oyster sauce instead of it just being in my face?
Right.
So I wanted to keep it clean, keep it simple and inviting.
No cleaning supplies right outside the bathroom.
No, no dusty flowers,
Oh, shit.
I wanted to make it open, inviting. I wanted the colors to be rich and warm.
Sure.
So there was a whole design aesthetic that my brother had, and he was brilliant at building. You know, even the colors, right? I mean, we had many discussions about like, what colors do we paint? You know, and I mean, it was the same color palette, but we were just arguing lighter or darker, you know, even the color of the bar seats, even the, so all of the design elements that went into building all the spaces actually was a labor of love and his vision truly coming to life and how it just all melded together. Like, let me take care of the menu side of things, the training side, the aesthetic. You take care of the design, and then we argue about colors.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But if you notice the colors in there, remind you of colors of the film,
Sure.
right? Like there is the vibrant tropical feels, but yet the warm, the like the Baha'i Kubo warm, right? That was the color. I'm like, I want the color of the walls to feel like Baha'i Kubo.
Right.
You know, the Philippines, that's what you see. But then you needed the splashes of color, but not too much where, you know how you drive by someone's house and you see their front lawn and you're like, oh, they're Filipino.
Why is the Philippine parole still hanging in July?
You put them up. Well, I take them down, but I put them all up.
Yeah.
Just so I actually put 12
Nice.
for the 12 days of Christmas. Each day I put one up until Noche Buena. And so that was my ode to our people.
Right.
Sure.
So I did a whole Filipino tree and I put up the pearls, and believe it or not, that's the one thing Filipinos can't agree on. They're like, we love the pearls.
Yeah.
Right? And they look forward to that. So it's a whole display I do, and I start it like 12 days, right, leading up to Christmas.
That's great.
And then I do a big Christmas party on Christmas Day with my family, and we put the last pearl up on Christmas Day. So that's just my little tradition.
Right. Right.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Well, Christine Cancel, thank you for visiting us today. More Asian Fusion in Oak Park.
Asian Kitchen in Oak Park.
Oh, Asian Kitchen in Oak Park. I mean, Rod's been there. I mean, probably more than one time. I gotta go. I gotta show up. So for sure. I mean, he keeps talking about adobo fried rice. I think that's gonna be that's the only thing I order.
Like crack.
Well,
It's like, it's a good thing I don't live too close to Oak Park because I'd be there every freaking day.
oh, well, you guys got to
We will for sure. I will for sure. So,
get
but
the buy-in.
yeah, also for you coming on, we want to give you a little something.
Gosh.
I think I got it right.
Oh, thank you.
So Eric has a business that Eric built that himself.
So I make it's a little side gig, side hobby, but you know, it's our thanks for you coming on today and, you know, giving us some time, because I know you're the big boss lady there. So you got to try to spare some time for us, but we appreciate it.
Yes, I really, really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool, though. And then for other people, the O has a significance. My dad's dream was to always own a restaurant, and he never got to do it because he passed away.
Oh,
So we made the O because his name was Orlando.
nice.
So we had to make it a little special, right? So that's
Well, yeah, hope I got the right one correct. So
that. Very cool. Thank you, guys.
awesome. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming to our watching and clicking in our show. We'll see you guys next time. Christine, we appreciate you. See you guys.